Movie story recaps here. At the beginning of the movie, it is told that the United Nations has demanded to reduce the increasing population. So every year a test is given to every student and the students who score the lowest are executed. This test was also known as thinning. Now every student was preparing for their test, which was going to take place after 18 hours. Then a character is introduced named Leanna, who was preparing her brother for the test. After even studying for hours, Leanna's brother was saying that he could not study and would not pass the exam, so he asked her for the contact lenses. After wearing those he could cheat on, answers were visible on his copy when he wore the lenses. Leanna gives those lenses to her brother, but tells him to destroy them after using them. Leanna then got a call from the hospital, so she took her little sister and brother with him and went to the hospital. The doctor tells Leanna that her mother was in a serious condition. The next is a scene of a governor's house in which we see the governor's son Blake, who was asking his bodyguard to get him something to eat from the kitchen. He sneaks out to meet one of his friends. His friend smiles at him and says this technique always works. Blake says to Ellie that maybe they are meeting for the last time because it was also their exam tomorrow. Ellie tells Blake that she is very nervous because of the test, but then suddenly one of Blake's bodyguards comes there and takes him to his dad, the governor. His dad hugs him while wishing him good luck for his exam. In the next scene we can see the school, where some guards in black clothes were watching the kids and were checking all of the students, and then we can see Leanna's brother whose contact lens was lost, and he was trying to find it, but then a guard asks him to move forward. Then we can see Leanna who sees all of the parents who were there to say goodbye to their kids. Suddenly Blake comes to her and asks her for the lenses, but she tells him that she had only one which she had already given to her brother. All of them stood in a line and guards were checking them when they found a cheating device from a man, so they locked him in jail. When the test was about to start, the guards locked the school from every side. In the test room, teachers were telling their students that this test is a little difficult, but they believe in their kids and they will be able to attempt it. Then the light goes dim in the room and each student picks up a tablet and starts attempting their paper. When the test ended, every student was very tense and worried about the results, and even some of them were crying. Now the names of failed students were announced one by one and guards were taking them. Some of them were crying loudly and some of them were asking the guards to leave them, but they were taking them forcefully. Blake's friend Ellie also failed, so guards also took her. The students who passed the exam, teachers were congratulating them. The failed students were taken to another room in which there was also Leanna's brother. On another side, Blake was calling his father to ask him to save his friend Ellie, but his father said that it was the rule and he cannot do anything other than just accept it. This makes Blake very angry and he tries his best to save Ellie, but fails to do so. In the next scene, 1 year has passed. And the second thinning test is in 24 hours. We can see Leanna preparing her little sister and brother for the test. Her mother had also died. On the other side, Blake is shown doing workouts in his room and there was a photo of Ellie in front of him at which he was staring. The exam day arrives and on his way to school, he puts a letter in the letterbox. When Blake's father opens that letter, there was a tablet and a video made by Blake in which he was telling him that he will fail this test by himself by choosing the wrong answers if his father had to accept this rule, so he had to go through this too. His father was demanding his son. But it was too late as the test had already started and the school was also in lockdown. There we also see a class full of kids. Their teacher was showing a video to them in which cartoons were telling them that America only allows kids to live here who score the best. Kids were clapping after the video finished. Their teachers started their test, and on the other side, the test for senior students had also started. Cameras were watching them. Blake completes his test in a very short time and sits in class calmly. Then we can see the class of kids where Leanna's little brother was giving his test. He raised his hand to ask a teacher something, but it was not allowed for the teachers to help the kids. The teacher tells Leanna's brother that he has to give his best. Now the test is finished and the teacher tells all of the kids whose names would be announced that they have to get up. Teachers start to announce the failed kids' names from both sides. Leanna had also failed the test of senior students, guards were taking her, and Blake had passed the test. Then Blake's father gets a call from someone who tells him that the transfer has been successful. Mark sees the failed kids were taken to a hall. When they were taking them inside the hall, Leanna's teacher comes there and says that Leanna cannot fail the test as she was one of her best students. Guards confirm it from the control center, but he gets the command that control center did not make any mistake. And then he asks Leanna to say goodbye to her teacher. Leanna's teacher hugs her and gives her a key card and tells her that everyone gets a second chance in their life. All of the failed students were then taken to a hall and Leanna put the key card in her mouth so that the guards could not see it. Mark also came there. The failed students get new clothes and then were taken to a new room. After taking them to the new room, every kid was tied to a chair and guards were standing in front of them with injections in their hands. Every student was very tense, and some of them were crying. On the other hand, we see Blake, who was distracting a guard and killing him to get to the control center. He then tried to use a computer, but was not able to because there was a password required. So he turns off the power of the whole school. The man who was head of the control center also sees the killed guard. In the room in which the students were tied to a chair, some of them tried to get out. Leanna also runs from there during this duration and opens the door from her teacher's keycard. When the guards check on the students, they get to know that Leanna has also escaped. When Leanna was escaping, a guard sees him, but she tells him that she was a teacher and shows him the keycard and tells him that she had seen a kid running from there. When the guard steps forward to see Leanna attack from behind, Blake also comes there and they both kill the guard. Leanna there tells Blake that she could not fail the test, and there Blake also tells her that he also wanted to fail the test purposely, but his father saved him. The head of the control center commands that the school should be kept in lockdown till they find Leanna, no matter how much the parents have to wait for their kids. Leanna and Blake hide in ventilation. They were going to the server room. The head of the control room calls all of the teachers in a room and starts to check their keycards. The teacher of Leanna did not have it. On another side, the father of Blake, the governor, was very angry and was told to control the situation. Leanna and Blake, who were going through the ventilation, Blake slips accidentally into a pool. Leanna saves him, then both of them take clothes from a locker and change. Then after going through ventilation again, they see in a server room one of the guys was fighting with the guards and the guards hit him. One of Leanna's friends records it on his mobile phone and sends it to one of his friends. Leanna accidentally drops her keycard, and when she tries to pick it up, a guard comes there, so Blake hides Leanna, but when he was trying to hide, the guard saw him, so Blake kills the guard and wears his uniform. On the other side, Leanna's teacher starts flirting with a male teacher and steals his keycard. So after checking, when no keycard was found from that male teacher, the head thought it was him who helped Leanna to escape, and she had his keycard. But till now Leanna had made it to the server room. She tries using the computer, but a password was required which she didn't know. She also tries using her keycard there, but it didn't help. From there she messages his friend, and he sends him a video, and now the computer was opened, so she checks her marks from there, and was shocked to see that she had scored 98% on that test. She also checks Ellie's score, and she had scored 88% on that test but still failed. There she also sees the governor's news in which he was saying that Leanna failed the test and tried escaping from there and killed 2 of the guards. The server head caught Leanna in the server room by a camera, and they catches Leanna. She tells him that she passed the test and she has proof of that. On the other side, a mark was also caught, but the results were out to the reporters. There we can see a reporter Ging report that Leanna scored the highest but still failed, and Blake scored the lowest but still passed the test. The governor now had also got orders that he had to free Leanna. Leanna was then free, but on the other side now Blake was caught. Now Blake was happy. Lockdown also got finished from the school. Leanna hugs her little sister after coming out of school. The parents whose kids didn't come were crying. The governor also accepted that it was his mistake. The failed students were taken to a place with the help of the lift. They were taken to a company where the tablets were made on which the test was taken, and they kept all of the students there who failed to pass the test. In the last scene of the movie, we can see a girl removing her mask, and it was none other but Ellie. Blake was very shocked to see her, and the movie ends here.